Before I begin, I would like to say that most of my audience isn't subscribed, so feel free to hit that subscribe button, as well as the like button and the notification bell for updates to the channel for new videos and community posts. Enjoy the video! What's going on YouTube? It's me, Geoffrey again. Today I'm going to demonstrate and show off how I made my own version of the jakks specific super shadow using a regular shadow because I did not feel like spending $100 on eBay just to get the official super shadow. So what I did to make this custom super shadow is one day I went to Walmart and found a 4-inch jakks specific action figure of Shadow in his regular form. So I knew that this would work because even though jakks did make a official 4-inch of Super Shadow, the colors of their official Super Shadow just look
bruh. Oh my god!
Ugh. Just too vibrant. So to do that, to make the custom of Super Shadow in a more proper shade, what I did is I had to disassemble Shadow to make the job easier. The paints I used were pretty simple. They were just Vallejo paints, and the paints I used to help make the shade of the color that Super Shadow is like a mix of yellow, white, silver, and a very little pinch of gold. I mixed that and got that perfect shade, but before I had to do the painting, I had to prime the figure using a little bit of white Vallejo paint. It's just to help give the colors a bit more vibrancy, that's all. As well as to make it look more solid when it is shown on camera. The first thing I did was focus on the body because the body was the thing I wanted to do first because it had the more skinnier parts, and I didn't want to focus on the head first as I do with other customs. I wanted to try the other way around and do the tougher parts first, and that's what I did. I gave that the white paint and then I went to the head. Now to the shadow head, I had to basically just do the same thing as the body, but what I had to do is I had to color all the black fur, white first, and then apply the golden, light yellowish color that Super Shadow is. And then after that, I decided to work on more smaller details like the chest fur. Speaking of the chest fur, I went back to that and basically fix the fur details to make it more whiter and more pronounced because the original paint job that jakks did on the Shadow the Hedgehog's chest fur isn't sometimes the most smoothest in paintwork because it's airbrushed, so I decided to take care of that. And then back to the Shadow head, I decided to work on the more finer details that are involving the color red. Starting off with the head stripes, which were pretty tricky at most, but then after studying with how they look in dimension wise, I used some red paint to give it a little more brighter look. Well, I mean, you might not see it on camera, but it looks a little better than what it looked like before it was repainted with a different shade of red. The next thing I had to do was the eyes. I didn't really do much with the eyes. The only thing I had to do was basically just paint that little red lines on the top of his eyes, because when you're doing painting, you sometimes have to fix some details, and trust me, it was a really tedious process. But the most tedious process when it comes to painting on the body had to be those little tiny stripes on his arms and his legs. No matter how many tries I had to think of trying to get as sharp as I could, it was just one of the toughest things when it comes to a custom that involves shadow. So I did my best. It doesn't matter if it looks a little rough. I don't care, I'm happy. Then basically I reassembled the pieces together after they dried, and then I've got Super Shadow. And there you go. My custom of Super Shadow is complete. I am Shadow the Hedgehog. I was created 50 years ago by Professor Gerald Robotnik. With the power of these emeralds, instead of causing chaos or evil, I will be using them to help protect my friends. I will protect those as well as make sure Maria's wish came true. To give people a chance to be happy. This is who I am. Alright, so here's my completed custom, well, technically custom / modification of Super Shadow, even though it uses a regular Shadow, but still, he looks awesome. Like as I said, I already got the necessary stuff that I need to get to make this, you know, modification, even though I consider it custom and a modification, just a mix of both. But looking closer inspection, the Super Shadow that I did looks probably even better than Jax's version of Super Shadow. Yeah, like all of his articulation remains the same. It's like the same swivels with the hinges, swivels on the wrists, via ball joint. Same thing with the feet, and the head is also still able to swivel. The paint makes it a little bit tougher for him to move his parts. So if you were to, let's say do it for stop motion, you gotta be aware of sometimes the paint, if it was like certain paints like Vallejo or something, you have to be aware that sometimes it will tighten, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just want you to be careful. If you were to, let's say if I was to do custom commissions, I'd have to make sure that there would be an option to have let's say a thin gloss finish or something like that, just help give it some extra durability. But that's that would be an idea if you were to let's say commission me to do this. So yeah, all of his articulation's the same: head, shoulders, wrists, legs, knees, and the feet, of course, and that's pretty much it. I decided to mix up those colors of yellow, white, and silver to make this perfect shade. I mean, if you were to, what I mean by that, I'll just pull out, let's say my custom of, Fleetway Supersonic, just for context. And my custom of Supersonic is in the closet, so I'll pull them out later when Shadow's on the podium so I can compare it to the modern Supersonic, but it's the shinier version with Tails and Knuckles. But yeah, you can see there is a difference in shade. And if you want proof that I am not exaggerating or using After Effects to prove that this is a different shade of yellow on Shadow, I'm literally going to prove you with this Bendy Figs SpongeBob's shade of yellow, and you could literally see that the Super Shadow is lighter than the SpongeBob. And basically that's all I just need to do when it came to Super Shadow. If you like this video, feel free to comment, share, and subscribe. It really means a lot to also hit the notification bell if you want to know when I upload a new video regarding whatever creepypasta or gaming or reaction, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna do more customs eventually too. I have to get back into my track. I've been really busy, so I apologize for everything. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this custom, showcasing how I made the Super Shadow in a more accurate color. And yeah, I also had some new green paint, so I fixed the colors on King K. Rool so he looks more better and easier to see on camera, to compare to my version 2 in my OC, which might either get the same green paint treatment, or I will make a third one just because I'm gonna make a 3 Geoffrey doing the Spider-Man meme, where it's 3 Spider-Man. It's gonna be my OC or 3 customs of my OC. so stay tuned for when I make version 3, but I also want to make like some experimentations with like what should I use as like a sealer just to give these customs like some durability, as well as like to know which ones could work with which paint, like if it's like Citadel, Vallejo, or Testers, or Apple Barrel leather. So yeah, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. I know I said that a second time. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.